Yeah. So most, if not all of us, have saved an image that we found online. It's almost second nature for us, but chances are you may be breaking the digital media laws. Here this morning to guide us through, digital strategist and co-founder of Digital Disruption, the Digital Disruption Agency, Kadia Francis. Good morning, Kadia. Welcome to Smile.
Morning,
Hi.
morning, Kadia.
Hi, morning.
Good to have you. The point I just
Thank
made is
you.
a valid point, don't it? We see things all the time. We download or retweet with this, with that.
Right.
But we don't think about the implications, which are what?
Well, several implications, and it depends on the licensing that is involved with that particular piece of content. So if it's a photograph or audio or video, you may need to seek permission before using that piece of content somewhere else. And sometimes it's related to intellectual property laws that do exist for digital content, or it could just be the rules of the platform that this content is on, or just best practices as digital marketers or as internet users that we have to acquiesce to.
Now we're talking about sharing in what framework. So we're not talking about sharing if I share it with Nev. We're talking about
Right,
if I take it and use it either in a campaign or
right. So taking that content and annexing it or repositioning it on your platform or incorporating it into your own content, that's where it becomes problematic, because certainly people put content out there because they want people to know about it. They
right.
want you to share it. But it's how you access the content and then how you reuse the content that can become a problem if you're not borrowing it responsibly.
Right.
And you said that can become a problem. So, are there
It
are
can
there
become a
are
problem.
there platforms out there that I can use stuff that it won't become a problem?
Sure, there are royalty-free content usually available behind what we call a paywall, which means that you have to have some kind of subscription to access this content. So let's say, for instance, you want to create a nice image or some piece of content for maybe your social media platform, and you're looking for a really nice photo or a really nice stock video or some piece of audio to add to your content. There are several platforms out there that you can use, and this content is what we call royalty free, which means that the owner of the content is giving you a one-time use license permission. So you pay a fee and you can use that content because you would have paid a fee for it. So that's why we call it royalty free, even though the free doesn't necessarily mean
Free.
absolutely free. So for instance, you have free platforms too, don't get me wrong. But you get better photos with the paid platforms because they tend to have higher quality.
Yep.
So Shutterstock is one. I'm sure some persons are familiar with Getty Images. That's another platform. Dreams Time. I mean, there are hundreds of platforms out there that you can pay a monthly subscription or a one-off fee for to access content. But if you don't have the budget like that, there are also free platforms that you can use, like Pexels, Pexels. That's a free platform that you can access video and photos, stock photos. There's also Unsplash that a lot of content creators are familiar with. And there are other design platforms like Canva that will give you free content once you are signed up or subscribed to their platform. And Canva have both a free version and a non-free version. You get more stock images with the paid version
So
of
just
that. So all you have to do is just do a quick Google search to find out what is free and what is paid.
okay. So Kadia, we're gonna position this a little bit for the folks who may not still understand. If you
Right.
think like, you're in college and you're writing a paper and you take
Yes,
somebody else's work and you cite it in your paper and you don't attribute it, then that's plagiarism, right?
that's
So
plagiarism.
this is like the parallel in social, is what we're talking about.
Well, on
Essentially.
social media, it's a little bit different on social media. Because there's an argument that can be made that once you post content on social media, it's no longer yours. That's social media is free, but there are hidden things in there that you need to be careful of as a content creator, because you
Okay.
may not own the content once you post it. But if you are resharing someone else's content on social media, there isn't any hard and fast rule, but there are best practices.
Okay,
So there's
gotcha. Gotcha,
So there's
gotcha,
what we
gotcha.
call user-generated content. That's what we really call content on social media. And say, for instance, TVJ saw something that somebody has posted. Maybe they're doing a review of a show on TVJ or some segment, right? And somebody posts that to their social media platform. And TVJ absolutely loves it. This person's raving about how awesome you guys are. And you want to reshare that for what we call social proofing. It helps people to know that you guys are doing well and other people love you, so they should love you too. So social proofing content is great. But instead of just taking that content and resharing it on your platform, the best thing to do if you're resharing is tag the original author of the content or the creator of the content. And I would suggest too that what you can do is you can solicit user-generated content by offering your audience some kind of incentive to create it. So you have brands like GoPro, Nike, Red Bull, they use a lot of user-generated content because the best way to show somebody how your product work, how your services work, is by getting
asking the
somebody
consumer
else who has
to
experienced
correct,
it to
correct,
talk about it. So
Yeah.
correct.
that is what user-generated content
Katie,
does.
Katie, if you look at
Right.
it the other way around, how do I protect my stuff to
Well,
ensure that
as
what we're talking about now doesn't happen? I put up something on YouTube and the whole world can use it. How do I protect it to ensure that this doesn't happen?
Well, a platform like YouTube operates differently. Now, YouTube is not a social media platform. YouTube is actually a search engine. And there are rules about how you can use certain content on YouTube. So you have what we call fair use content, which doesn't mean it's free, but it means that you can use it up to a certain point. So for instance, you will have a song that you want to include in your video. So YouTubers have an introductory video or intro video, and they want to use a song. Now they can use up to a couple seconds of that song, and that's fine, no problem. You can use up to a couple lines of a song lyrics, that's a problem. In fact, you can cover a song, and that's not a problem because that would come under what we call fair use, right? So in that way, the platform is protecting other people's content. The difficulty with protecting your content on digital platform is that you have less control over it once it's out there. You can copyright the content, and if you find somebody violating that copyright, of course, you can bring a lawsuit. You can send a cease and desist letter. But it's very difficult to control content on digital platforms once you pretty much put it out there. And so you have platforms that ensure that they have their own internal policies that would either block a user who is violating that policy, or send warnings or suspend your account or something like that. But there, as I said, unless you're going to then take that person to court, which may be problematic, because what happens if the person who's using your content is not in the same jurisdiction as you are, then does that law apply?
Correct.
So that's the downside to putting your content out there on digital platforms.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, I still know your stuff, lady. Thank you very much. And please,
Thank you very much.
please stay safe. All right.
Thank you, you too.
All right. Co-founder of Digital Disruption Agency, Kadia Francis.
Okay, we'll be right back with more on Smile. Stick around.
Fun.